John and Justin, I'm going to talk to you about Bermuda, where I grew up, and also about the places I have lived. Bermuda is a group of over 100 islands in the middle of the Atlantic, over 600 miles east of North Carolina. They were named by a Spanish explorer named Juan de Bermudez, who passed by the island on his way back to Spain. Many years later, Sir George Somers, the captain of the Sea Venture, landed in Bermuda in 1609 due to a storm that destroyed his ship when he was on his way to Virginia. He claimed the islands for England and stayed there until he and his men could build boats to take them to Virginia. He left 2 men on the island. More and more people moved to the islands from England. Bermuda is very small. 6 islands have been joined together by bridges, so it is 20 miles long and 1 mile wide. There are now 65,000 people living there. Bermuda has many beautiful beaches, and the ocean is very clear and blue. People come from all over the world for vacations. Tourists and Bermudians alike love to go boating when the weather is good. Water skiing, jet skiing, snorkeling, and paddle boating are also popular. The beaches are very clean, and most of them have white sand, but some have pink sand, which is beautiful. Tourists love to take some of the sand back home with them. This is the lighthouse, Gibbs Hill Lighthouse, which you visited when you were in Bermuda. It is one of the oldest lighthouses in the world. It was built to let the ships know where the reefs are so that they won't be wrecked. Next, we have the Crystal Caves, which was discovered by 2 boys who were playing with a ball, and it went down into a cave. Now it is the most popular place to visit. You walk across a bridge and see all of the crystal formations all around you. In the early days in Bermuda, criminals were put in these stocks for punishment. Now they're a tourist attraction. This is the city of Hamilton. In the summer, you'll see lots of men, including policemen, wearing Bermuda shorts. You would also see Mr. Johnny Barnes every morning waving to people going to work. You can see that he even has a statue. I'm standing in a moongate with hibiscus flower in my hair. They grow wild on the island. Then there are the Easter lilies, which are among some of the most beautiful flowers you'll see. Many people get around in cars or on scooters or motorbikes. Others take the bus or the ferry. Bermudians love the beach, of course, and so there are lots of beach parties and picnics. Here I am at a beach party. Now you see Papa V when he was really young, and Uncle Stan. There I am again, standing with some friends. Then there's Grandpa Percy and I on the beach. I'm here with Aunt Sandra, and we're at a picnic eating some fried chicken, it looks like. We would have lots of good food. Here it is. Here's your great-grandmother in the middle, great-grandma Fubler, Aunt Hetty, and Aunt Edie in these pictures. Then we'll see your dad getting ready to dive off a boat, and here he is posing on a rock. The most popular sports are soccer and cricket. In the summer, there's a big cricket game called Cup Match. Lots of people gather to see the game. Here are Grandpa Percy and I with some friends at the game. And here are your mom and dad watching. There I am having fun at the game. This is the Bermuda Regiment Band at a parade. Then there are the Gumbays, who dress up in costumes and dance in the street on special occasions. Here are my mom and dad when they got married. This is the house I grew up in. Uncle Stan and Aunt Donna live there now. Do you remember the big tree in the front? This is my dad holding me as a baby. And there are pictures of me when I was growing up. When I was 5, my mom had a big party for me. There I am. Then this is a fancy dress show. Each person dressed up in costumes. I was in a party dress. Now here I am with my cousin and another birthday party, and then riding my tricycle. I attended West End School for my elementary education, which is very close to my house. I used to go home for lunch every day because we didn't have a cafeteria to eat in. Then this is the church that I attended and where I went to Sunday school. This is our family. Now you see Uncle Stan over here on the right. He is 7 years younger than I am. So when we were growing up, we weren't really good friends because he was so much younger than I was. When I was growing up in Bermuda, there was segregation, which meant that Black people couldn't do anything they wanted to. There were schools for Black children and schools for white children. My high school was the Berkeley Institute. This is everyone in the school. You can see that we wore uniforms. Here I am with my best friends. We called ourselves the Big Four. You can see our uniforms: navy blue skirt and blazer, white blouse and tie. Now I'm getting ready for gym class and for our dance festival that we had every year. We like to dress alike, the Big Four, when we went on picnics in the summer. We had our graduation and then a dance, which was like a prom. These are pictures taken after high school, before I left for college. In fact, I was teaching for 2 years before I left for college. This is the day that I left to go to Canada. This is Ottawa, Canada, and this is my school, Ottawa Teachers College. This is me with my classmates and my roommate, Carolyn. One weekend, my friend and I went to Carolyn's family farm. I'm on a horse, but I didn't really ride it. In Canada was the first time that I ever saw snow. And then here I am with some of my school friends. When I returned from Teachers College, I taught at the same elementary school that I went to when I was a little girl. Here are the teachers I taught with. A few years later, I met Papa V, and we got married. You see, when Papa V finished high school in Chicago, Illinois, he had to sign up to serve the country. The United States has the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard who defend the country from enemies, other countries that might want to take over the United States. Papa V signed up for the Air Force, and he worked in the hospital pharmacy where he was responsible for filling prescriptions. When you're in the Air Force, you have to go where you are sent. So he was sent to Bermuda, and that's where I met him. 2 years later, he was transferred to Travis Air Force Base in California. So we moved there in 1967. These are some pictures from California. We even cut down a Christmas tree one year. Here we are with friends. In fact, the Smiths are your dad's godparents. I went skiing twice while I was there, and it was fun. In 1970, Papa V was sent to Japan. I enjoyed seeing a new country and learning about the Japanese people. Here I am in a kimono, which is the Japanese traditional outfit. My friends and I got these trophies for bowling. We left Japan in 1972 and moved to Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas. And that's where your dad was born. We then moved to Montgomery, Alabama. This was our house. And this was your dad's first birthday. Your dad didn't like to eat certain foods, so he would spit them out. Here's some other pictures of your dad in Montgomery. My mother, your great-grandmother Fubler, and your great-aunt Edith came to visit in Montgomery. And so did Papa V's mother, who's your great-grandmother Bernardo. We always had birthday parties for your dad. In 1975, we moved to Virginia, which is very near Washington, D.C. There's the Capitol building where the laws are made. And then there's the White House and the Washington Monument. There's your dad in kindergarten in Virginia. And we've got more birthday parties. He is in his Halloween costume. Playing in the snow. More Halloween costumes. And birthday parties. practicing his cello, riding his bike, and practicing on his trombone. When your dad was 14, he went to live with Papa V in Montgomery, Alabama, where he had been transferred by the Air Force. I didn't go because Papa V and I had gotten a divorce, which meant we didn't live together anymore. We were both very sad that this happened, but sometimes moms and dads get very unhappy and decide not to be married anymore. I moved to Alpharetta, Georgia, so that I could be closer to where your dad was. He would come up to visit me some weekends. After a while, I met Grandpa Percy and we got married. That's my mom and dad, your great-grandmother and great-grandfather, Fubler, who were at our wedding along with many friends. We moved to Alexandria, Virginia, and bought a house in Kingstown. There's a house. There's our deck at the back of the house. There's Grandpa Percy looking at the tomato plants. Those tomatoes were very good. As you can see, we would get a lot of snow, sometimes in the winter. It was hard work shoveling so we could walk to our car. This is my 60th birthday party. Then here's your dad when he graduated from Auburn University. Here he is in his band uniform. And also with great-grandmother and great-grandfather Bernardo. I went to Las Vegas to celebrate my 70th birthday and had a good time. Your mom and dad were there also. That's before you were born. I've also been on some cruises. This is the one to Alaska. There's a glacier, which is a huge chunk of ice formed by a lot of snow. It gets so cold that the ice doesn't melt very much, even in summer. We rode on a train while we were there. And did many other things. There we are with some friends on the ship. I visited London, England, where the Queen lives. These are soldiers marching near the palace where she lives. You know, we have a president which lives in the White House here in America. In England has a queen who lives in Buckingham Palace. I've been to Paris, France, and this is the famous Eiffel Tower. This is an old building in Rome, Italy. And I also saw a leaning tower in Italy. This is a church in Spain, and here's in the island in Greece. We had to come down on a cable cars from this island. If not, we would have had to walk down hundreds of steps or ride on a donkey. Here's your mom and dad when they got married. Grandpa Percy and I moved to Allen just before you were born, John. After you were born, I looked after both of you when you were babies. Grandpa Percy died in 2017, and in 2018, we all went on a family cruise to the Caribbean. This is St. Kitts. Do you remember the monkeys? This is the whole group in my cabin on Christmas Eve. Here we are at the Grand Canyon last year. These are family photos. This is your great-great-grandmother, Bernardo. Here's Grandpa V, your great-grandfather, Bernardo, and your dad. Oops. This is great-grandmother, Bernardo, with her children, Papa V, Aunt Rose, Uncle Gene, Aunt Chiquita. Here I am, and then there we are. And now this is the whole family taken in Bermuda back in 2016 when Grandpa Percy was still alive. You can see Aunt Donna, Uncle Stan, Trenton, Trinique, all of us under the tree outside of Uncle Stan's house. Hope you enjoyed this.